Um, I'm probably just going to talk about this in one clip right now, even though it takes place throughout the show. So we're still in the first like 20, 25 minutes of the show. We get this Viking Raiders versus Street Profits basketball game. And this shit blows, man. It's just so badly produced and written. It really made me feel for the Viking Raiders and Street Profits. Think about the segments that we're used to seeing that just elevated guys to the moon. I mean, think about Lie, Cheat, and Steal. And again, they weren't like overly produced, amazing things, but they really let the personalities of the guys carry the day. These segments are just fucking terrible, man. They're just written so badly. It's not funny. I don't know who this would be funny towards. And then they're going to have an axe throwing thing. And again, I think that there's a potential there, albeit small potential, of, okay, you're playing our game basketball, which it turns out the Viking Raiders, who are terrible at it, are actually not terrible at it, but they were just pretending to be terrible at it. What? And then they're going to do this axe throwing thing. And then we don't go back to this thing, by the way. They cram in another 4 or 5 segments of this axe throwing shit, but they don't do it for 2 hours. I'm not kidding. Who's producing this fucking thing? Who's producing it? It's insane. It's insane. It's almost like they said, we know this shit's not really good and nobody's watching the 3rd hour anyway, so we'll just save it till then. But instead, when it comes back, it really feels like, oh yeah, this shit. What? And what if I was coming in halfway through the show? I would have fucking awful. And the axe throwing stuff that they do later, with these lame camera cuts and smash cuts, and then the thing about the one axe going through the cop's windshield, and the cops going, well, I'm going to let you off because I find the one with the longer beard cute, and the other one I don't. And the Street Profits go, oh, and all of the extras who were there, that like Renaissance fair looking folks, and God, it just did nothing to elevate this shit. And again, you forgot, are these guys headed towards a match with each other? Is that the point of all of this? It's a show. This is supposed to be the joy in the show, but it feels joyless. It really does. I mean, you had this great shit with Becky Lynch last week, which they don't capitalize on in an effective way. And you got this shit with the axe throwing. I can honestly say, when we used to do bits in PCW, comedy bits, I'm not going to say all of them hit. I'll just say that there was an attempt to make them funny, an attempt to make them understandable without making them overly simplistic and stupid. This thing manages to feel overly complicated, yet insulting to your intelligence all at the same time. That's a hard trick to pull off. But it didn't do the Street Profits any favors. It doesn't do the Viking Raiders any favors. What are they trying to convey with these guys? That they're really clever and witty? Fail. That they're badasses? Fail. So what the fuck's the point? My God. I mean, I hope wrestling people who are listening to this, whether it's from one of the bigger companies or indies, realize if you're gonna do a bit, you gotta write shit 3 times. And none of this shows evidence of this. This is something that a writer teacher taught me, and this is great shit. Fucking remember this and write it down. You write things once to get the ideas down. You edit them and write them a second time to perfect them. Then you write it a 3rd time to give it the feel that you just came up with it, so it has a spontaneous feel. That's a great fucking lesson. And obviously whoever wrote the Street Profits and Viking Raiders thing did not do that in the slightest. They barely wrote it once, and it's awful and fucking dreadful.